very deep. Pay attention.
Real soft, because I don't want to say what is not the platform to say certain things on. I want to be careful in how I dissect this word. But the Lord said that we have been in a 7-year time period of preparation. And we've been being prepared, and even the word you spoke last night and what Apostle Pam spoke today, some things just go over our head. But God is trying to prepare us for war. He's trying to prepare us and help us understand the strategic time period we're in to get dressed and equipped properly for what's ahead. And many are not dressed and prepared. And so what we are seeing and what he spoke to me, that this is going to take us, because the revelatory realms, if we're prophesying what is already here, then you're not a prophet. You're prophesying because you have the ability to see what has not come yet. And when we are speaking out of the eternal realms, causing what is in the now to recognize what is an eternity that it has to obey. And so what I understand that God is saying is that in this 7-year time period of preparation, he began to speak to me, and he said, I need you to mark 2 time periods of the earth. And he spoke to me about the year 2030, and he spoke to me about the year 2050. And he began to speak to me about the time period of shifts, the chronology of time and what is unfolding in this time period. And he said, tell the people that they are to prepare themselves. Now, I lived in Israel for 4 years. When I lived in Israel for 4 years, we had a bomb shelter room in every house. In other words, the people in Israel were always prepared for any moment something could break out. And what we don't understand is that God is trying to installate and get our lives in a place of fireproof. What is coming was not marked against the righteous, but God is trying to prepare the righteous, those of us that are called by God in this time period to be the light bearers, that he's trying to draw you into a place called the Ark of Covenant. He's saying, get into the Ark. God is saying the safest place for us is going to be in the Ark. He says, go back and get your covenant credentials in order. Get your heart in order. Get your mind in order. And so he's been speaking about, to me, he told me that an asteroid was being released. And he spoke to me and he said an asteroid because the earth has been off its axis. The earth has been pulled, and there's a gravitational pull of darkness that has been pulling the earth out of the sweet spot God set it. And when he set the earth on the sweet spot, he put people to govern over the earth. And he says, what is happening, we have gotten out of the algorithm of heaven. We have lost the frequency and the original sound voice of God. And so everything in the earth is chaotic and out of order because God is bringing us back into oneness. And our sound must become so that we are able to synchronize our mantles, synchronize our gifts, synchronize our delegated authority. That when we speak, everything in the earth recognize it's not us that's speaking, but it's the same ancient voice that spoke and created everything, because we are in this, oh my God, we're in rhythm. We're in oneness with heaven. We don't break rank. We say exactly what he said. But he began to speak to me that we're going to find ourselves in dangerous places in the days to come. Just give me a moment to download this. Because he said to me as this asteroid was coming, and it sounds crazy, and I've been sitting saying, God, who do you tell these words to? Because we're in a place where we are so emotionally stirred that when we say anything that don't make you feel right or look good, oh, y'all better hear me. We get in trouble, the attacks come because it doesn't feel good or make you look good. But I'm telling you, everything God said is good for us. And so he says, as we prepare ourselves for what is happening, the climatical shifts are wars that are happening in the galaxies and in the cosmos. He says these are nations that God has already set through judgment. Some nations will no longer remain. And he began to speak to me. He said, even as the angels fell, a third of the earth will be in trouble. And he said to me this. He says, the darkness that is coming, he said, tell the agents of light to get on their gates, get on their doorposts, begin to apply the sound of glory over your nation, over your region, over your city. That's why you have a mantle. You have a mantle to operate in authority and release out of a mantle what God is saying out of the heavens, that the earth will recognize there are still mantles on the earth. Mantles are for the earth. You are for eternity, and God is saying, pick up a mantle and guard a gate. So let me go here and finish. Because he said to me, he said that when we don't have a light that is registering registering back to the frequency and the speed of glory, darkness to step. And what he's been trying to do to us, if you can stay with me, he's been trying to get you to a place that you are no longer emotionally crippled. The enemy is hitting and triggering emotional stuff in your life that every time you get ready to ascend, here's another trigger. And he's triggering you because he recognized your soul. Well, y'all better hear me. He's talking about is connected to the shalom, the peace of your soul. And he's saying when we really get in trouble and we're seeing that the earth is changing, the Lord spoke to me, he said, I'm reframing your world. He says, many of us have framed our world and we sat in a safe place trying to prevent things from troubling us. And he says, I'm troubling everything that can be troubled. I'm shaking everything to be shaken because you created a world that I did not pick for you. God said, I'm telling you, I'm taking the frame world that you created and I'm teaching you the power of the glory. I'm teaching you the power of the kingdom that you would get into the world that I built. Oh my God. God said you can frame the worlds out of the word. And when you begin to speak the word of God, it's going to create out of you what you need, what God said, what God ordained. He said you prophesy to your future and that's what you're going to see. Don't say what you see, say what he said and frame a new world because he is breaking down the world that was reframed through emotional crippling disease. Oh my God, help me Jesus. God said, I'm about to heal my people in this hour. He said, don't you run from fear. Oh my God, he said, because I'm building your faith, that you will overtake the fears of your soul. He said, I'm healing the souls in this hour. And what he said to me, even through the emotional crippling pain we're feeling right now, because he's cleansing souls. And he said to me, he said, the enemy recognized the wealth transfer.
Oh yeah. Yes, he did.
The enemy recognized that what is happening is that God is changing. Everything is changing hands. He recognized that he's raising up new kingdom ambassadors. He recognized, I wish somebody could hear me, he recognized that your name, your mantle, your divine authority is being summoned to the earth. And what he's doing, because he doesn't play fair, he's going back to your childhood when you were 7. And when you got saved, you sat in the church, but you never dealt with your soul. Oh, Lord, help me. He said that the enemy is trying to trigger you and make you now believe in the memory of your emotions. That what stands before you is you, what's in you is not greater than it. He says, but I'm making you be reminded from an ancient spirit of old that the glory of God, the kingdom, the authority of God in you is greater than the force that's coming against you. He says the four winds of the earth are about to blow. And he said, I'm going to cause a wind to blow out of you in this season. That even though it looked like you're not moving, when you're making little steps, you are greater than the wind that's coming against you. God said, this is the hour that I'm raising up a kingdom that is going to be a force against the gates of hell. And I'm going to close right here. I know it's so much. But let me close right here. Let me. In the days that we're in, I did not see. I saw the church become almost like a hospital. I saw crises breaking out in cities at large. I saw the church where there was cots of beds that the city are going to bring. They're going to have nowhere in mental wards. They will have nowhere in jail cells to hold the chaos crises that is coming. But God said, I'm using it to awaken a kingdom. Miracles are getting ready to hit the streets. People are getting ready to get delivered at the supermarket, at the gas station. He said, get your mantle and go to war because it's time to